I want to tell you about the new chapter limits and derivatives. In fact, what is the limit? If I tell you about the limit with the help of an example, that is if limit x tending to 2 and function is x square minus 4 upon x minus 2, means the value of this rational expression not at 2, because if we put here x is equals to 2, we will get 2 square minus 4 upon 2 minus 2, that is 4 minus 4 upon 2 minus 2, that is 0 upon 0. 0 upon 0 and infinity upon infinity are known as indeterminate form. It is indeterminate form. So, in order to understand the concept of limit, I am telling you if limit x tending to 2 x square minus 4 upon x minus 2, x tending to 2 means if we are trying to put the value of x as 2, we are obtaining 0 upon 0, which is indeterminate form. X tending to 2 means not 2, it is close by 2. So there are two possibilities: close by 2, the value of x which need to put may be more than 2 or may be less than 2. If you observe it on the number line, suppose it is 0, 1 and 2. So if I take about the left hand limit, what is the left hand limit? In the function, in place of x, we will put a bit less than the value which limit tends to. Here limit x is tending to 2, so what we will put? We will put the value of x as 2 minus h. And very important to understand here that there is no gap between 2 minus h and 2. Very close values. As I am taking something less than 2, that's why we say it is left hand limit. So we have to write here limit not x tending to 2. We will write limit h tending to 0, because h is very close to 0. As here was limit x tending to 2, value of x is not 2, either it is bit more or bit less. Limit h tending to 0, in place of x, we will put 2 minus h whole square minus 4 upon 2 minus h minus 2. So we will get limit h tending to 0, 4 plus h square minus 4h minus 4 upon minus of h. Minus 4 get cancelled, and the value of the function, that is the left hand limit, is coming out like this: h taking common, h minus 4 upon minus h. This h and h get cancelled. We are obtaining it as limit h tending to 0, h minus 4 upon nothing but what? Minus 1. So if we put h as 0, we will get minus 4 upon minus 1, that is what? 4. So the left hand limit of this function x square minus 4 upon x minus 2 at x tending to 2 is coming what? 4. Similarly, if I want to tell you what is its right hand limit, in order to understand right hand limit, we can take the help of number line. This is 1, this is 2. Right hand limit means RHL of x square minus 4 upon x minus 2, where at x is equals to 2, meaning by we will put a bit more than 2. So we will write it as limit h tending to 0. In place of x, we will put x will be supplied by 2 plus h. So this become 2 plus h whole square minus 4 upon 2 plus h minus 2, meaning by everywhere in x we have put 2 plus h. This is coming out to be limit h tending to 0, 4 plus h square plus 4h minus 4 upon h. So ultimately, if h will be common and will be cancelled with the denominator, we will get limit h tending to 0, h plus 4. If h is supplied by 0, the right hand limit answer is 4. Answer of the left hand limit for this problem, its left hand limit was 4, its right hand limit is 4. Now, the value of the left hand limit and right hand limit are equal. What is the value of the function at x is equals to 2? If we put x is equals to 2, we will find at x equal to 2, its answer is 4 minus 4 upon 2 minus 2, 0 upon 0, which is indeterminate form. Now, we can do one more thing, that is limit x tending to 2, x square minus 4 can be written as x minus 2 into x plus 2 divided by x minus 2. Neither x minus 2 in numerator nor in denominator are 0 because x is tending to 2 not equal to 2, and in place of x if we put 2, we will get 2 plus 2 is equals to 4. So left hand limit is equals to right hand limit is equals to value of function at that point. Hence we can say this function is continuous and its limit exists. In any problem of the limit, if the value of the left limit, value of the right limit and value of function all are equal, then we say yes, limit exists. Now I am taking a question where we will explain you how to solve a problem related to limit. The problem is limit x tending to 3, root of 2x plus 3 upon x plus 3. The very first step, we supply the value of variable same as where limit tends. So we have to write 2 into 3 plus 3 upon 3 plus 3. This becomes 6 plus 3, 9. Its square root is 3 upon 6. This become what? Half, 1 by 2. So if we want to evaluate limit x tending to 3, this is clear cut a valid real answer. It is neither in the form of 0 upon 0 nor in the form of infinity upon infinity. That's why limit is directly existing. Hence, no procedure of finding the left limit or right limit will be followed, and answer of this problem is 1 by 2. Now I want to discuss with you one more problem related to limit. It is limit x tending to 3, x square minus 4x plus 3 upon x square minus 2x minus 3. As we know, first of all, we check whether the problem at given value comes in the indeterminate form or not. So to check that, we will put x equal to 3 in numerator as well as in denominator. So this will be 3 square minus 4 into 3 plus 3 upon 3 square minus 2 into 3 minus 3. This become 9 plus 3. What? 12. Minus 12. So this become 12 minus 12 upon, this is 9 minus 6 minus 3, 9. 9 minus 9. Which becomes 0 upon 0, said to be indeterminate form. If a problem is coming in the indeterminate form, then we are bound to think that how we will crack the problem. Just to check the first step, is the problem need any rationalization, which is not possible? Is it possible to bring it in the simplest form by doing the factorization? That seems to be. Now we will operate it like this: limit x tending to 3. Factors of numerator will be x minus 3 into x minus 1 and in denominator it will be x minus 3 into x plus 1. This x minus 3 and x minus 3 is a common, so we will write limit x tending to 3, x minus 1 upon x plus 1. Now after cancelling that term, particularly because of that question is coming in the indeterminate form, we will put now the value of x as 3. So this become 3 minus 1 upon 3 plus 1, 2 upon 4, which become 1 by 2. So the limit value of the function at limit x tending to 3 is half. I am taking a question which needs rationalization. Evaluate limit x tending to 0 root of 2 plus x minus root 2 upon x. First, why rationalization is required? That because if we put the value of x directly 0, it will be root of 2 plus 0 minus root of 2 upon 0, which is 0 upon 0 is said to be indeterminate form. Now, if a question comes in the indeterminate form, this is indeterminate form. So, factorization is definitely not possible, and before going for left limit or right limit, we need to check whether it can be rationalized and what will be the answer after rationalization. That will be limit x tending to 0 root of 2 plus x minus of root 2 upon x. So if we rationalize the numerator, it will go to multiply with the conjugate by changing this negative sign, root of 2 plus x plus root of 2 upon root of 2 plus x plus of root 2. So by doing so, a minus b, a plus b, algebraic identity a square minus b square. This become limit x tending to 0, 2 plus x minus 2 upon x times of root of 2 plus x plus root 2. 2 and 2 get cancelled, x and x get cancelled. What we will obtain? It will be limit x tending to 0, 1 upon root of 2 plus x plus root 2. Now if we put x equals to 0, this will be 1 upon root 2 plus root 2. And final answer comes as 1 upon 2 root 2 of the limiting value of the function tending to 0 is 1 upon 2 root 2. Till now I have explained you to solve the problems either to obtain the limiting value by putting the value x tending to whatever directly, or by factorization, or by rationalization. But a special formula in the chapter of the limit which we need is if limit x tending to a, x to the power n minus a to the power n upon x minus a is there, then its answer is obviously to be taken n into a raised to the power n minus 1. I want to tell you problems based on this formula. If I take an example that if limit x tending to 2, x to the power suppose given 10 minus 1024 upon x minus 2. To find the value of this, if we put x equals to 2, what we will get? 2 is to power 10 minus 2 is to power 10, because 1024 is continuous product of 2 10 times, upon 2 minus 2, which becomes 0 upon 0, set to be indeterminate form, because 2 is to power 10, positive negative cancel, 2 cancel, 0 upon 0, this become indeterminate form. Indeterminate form. Now if I check this question with this result, I am noticing x is x, n is 10 and a is 2. So the value of limit extending to 2 x to the power 10 minus 1024 is 2 is to power 10 divided by x minus 2. So I can say limit extending to a x to the power n minus a to the power n upon x minus a, known as n a n minus 1. This become 10, a means 2, power 10 minus 1. So 2 into 10 into 2 is to power 9 is the limiting value of this question at limit extending to 2 using the formula limit extending to a x to the power n minus a to the power n upon x minus a is equals to n into a raised to the power n minus 1. I want to tell you one more important example. Evaluate limit extending to 1 x plus x square plus x cube plus dot 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 plus x raised to the power n minus n upon x minus 1. In fact, this minus n will play one very important role. I can write this as limit extending to 1 x plus x square plus x cube plus dot 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 plus x raised to the power n. Then minus n I can write as 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus dot 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 n times 1 and divided by x minus 1. X plus x square plus x cube plus x raised to the power n minus, because you know if it is 2 we can write 1 plus 1. If there is 3 we can write 1 plus 1 plus 1. If it is n, then 1 how many times repeated? N times. Now you can check, this become limit extending to 1 and can be written as x and then minus 1. I can write it as x minus 1 upon x minus 1 plus, if x square and next one, it can be written as x square minus 1 upon x minus 1, and in numerator 1 I can write 1 square or 1, same meaning, plus dot dot dot, and last term will be xn minus 1 upon x minus 1. So what we can write 1 as 1 is to power n, 1 multiplied n times is the 1. In these problems, in these subparts, if I apply the formula of NaN minus 1, I will get here 1. N is 2, A is 1, 2 minus 1. In third, it will be 3 into 1, 3 minus 1, plus n into 1, n minus 1. This will be 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus dot 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 plus n. Sum of first n natural numbers is given by n into n plus 1 upon 2. So the limiting answer of this expression at 1 is n into n plus 1 upon 2. One more problem where if limit existed is given, then how to find the value which required in the problem. If limit extending to minus a, x to the power 9 plus a to the power 9 upon x plus a is 9, what is the value of a? This problem seems to be used like this: limit extending to minus a, x to the power 9 minus of minus a raised to the power 9 divided by x minus minus a is equals to 9. We can compare it with x to the power n minus a to the power n upon x minus a. Answer is n is 9, a is minus a, n minus 1, that is 9 and minus 1 is equals to 9. So this 9 and this 9 will cancel, we will get 1. So minus a raised to the power 8 is 1. This implies answer of a may be plus 1 or may be minus 1. Now one more type of problems based in the limit. If limit is tending to infinity, I take in general that limit extending to infinity and x to the power n plus Say for example, x to the power n minus 1 plus x to the power n minus 2 plus dot 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 upon, there is some expression like b x to the power m plus k x to the power say m minus 1 plus dot dot dot. So there are two algebraic expressions. The degree of numerator, here degree of numerator is what? N, and the degree of denominator is m. Degree of numerator is n, highest power, and the degree of denominator is m. And especially if limit x tending to infinity, there are three cases. If n and m are equal, and suppose the coefficient of this is a, then answer of the problem will be a upon b, that is highest power term of numerator upon coefficient of the highest power, that is equal power in numerator and denominator. If exists, then a upon b. Second situation is if degree of numerator is greater than the degree of denominator, then answer will be infinity. Third, the last, if degree of numerator is less than the degree of denominator, then answer of the problem comes out to be 0. So if this kind of problem exists, that limit x tending to infinity and some algebraic expression, or you can say polynomial is numerator and in the denominator, then you have to go to check their degrees. If their degrees are same, then answer will be the coefficient of highest power term in numerator upon coefficient of the highest power term in the denominator. If numerator's degree is more than the denominator, answer is directly infinity, and if it is less, then answer is directly 0. I will take an example to explain you this question further, why it's so. Now I am explaining you one problem where limit is tending to infinity. Evaluate limit x tending to infinity, 5x raised to the power 7 minus 8x raised to the power 6 plus 12x minus 8 upon 17x 7 plus 5x 4 minus 63x square plus 6. As I declared you, I told you in my previous video that if degree of numerator and denominator are same, then answer is the ratio of the coefficients of the highest powered terms in numerator and denominator. Here degree is 7, its coefficient is 5. In denominator degree is 7, its coefficient is 17. So answer must come 5 by 17. But how? To solve such problems, we have to take limit x tending to infinity. We will take x raised to the power 7 as common. Then we will left with 5 minus 8 upon x plus 12 upon x6 minus 8 upon x7. And this is divided by x raised to the power 7 is common again. We will get 17 plus 5 upon x cube minus 63 upon x5 plus 6 upon x raised to the power 7. So what is coming this? Limit x tending to infinity, x7 and x7 cancelled, and if in place of x we put infinity, what we will get? We will get 5 minus 8 upon infinity plus 12 upon infinity minus 8 upon infinity divided by 17 plus 5 upon infinity minus 63 upon infinity plus 6 upon infinity, because infinity is square is also infinity, power whatever it is infinity. Any number upon infinity is 0, so this becomes 5 minus 0 plus 0 minus 0 upon 17 plus 0 minus 0 plus 0. So net answer of the problem is coming, as I was telling you, the ratio of the coefficients of the highest degree terms 5 by 17. In case if the degree of the numerator is more than the degree of denominator, answer has to come infinity, and the denominator's degree is more, then answer will be 0. Now I would like to explain you the trigonometric limits. In order to solve the problems of the trigonometric limits, we must remember these results. So, what are these results? You must understand, if limit extending to 0 sin x, we have to take the answer is 0. First result. Second, if limit extending to 0 cos x, we have to take is 1. If limit extending to 0 tan x, then we have to take is 0. If limit extending to 0 problem is sin x upon x, angles are equal and in radian, answer is 1. Then if limit extending to 0 problem of tan x upon x, the answer of this limit is also 1. So these are the problems related with our trigonometric concern. So as and when we will solve any trigonometric problem of the limit, we have to remember the results. Limit extending to 0 sin x 0, limit extending to 0 cos x 1, limit extending to 0 tan x 0, limit extending to 0 sin x upon x 1, limit extending to 0 tan x upon x is 1. Now I want to explain you one more problem where limit extending to 0 sin 3x upon 5x. I have told you that if limit extending to 0 sin x upon x is here, then answer is 1. So as the sin of 3x is here, so what we need here? 3x. So this become limit extending to 0 sin of 3x upon 5x. We need to make this result as 3. So we need to multiply numerator by 3, denominator by 3, and to maintain it equal, we have to multiply numerator by 3 also. So this problem can be written as limit extending to 0. This 3 and this 5 is taken here, and left part is sin 3x, and this result is also what? 3x. Now these two values of the angle and denominator become equal, and you know if limit extending to 0 sin x upon x is 1, then it is 1. So here limit extending to 0 sin 3x upon 3x will also be 1. So this become 3 by 5 into 1. So the result comes out to be 3 by 5. So like this we can apply the required result by just making some transformations to solve the problems related to our trigonometric limits. This is the answer, 3 upon 5. Now I would like to tell you about the derivatives. In fact, if there is a real valued function fx, if fx is a real valued function and a is any point in its domain, because if a function exists, then its domain exists, its codomain exists, its range exists. So in general, I want to tell you what is the derivative. If fx is a real valued function, fx is a real valued function, and a is any point in its domain, then the derivative, that is a very minor change in the value of y, if a very minor change is made in the value of x, we report it with d upon dx of fx. D upon dx means derivative of fx, that is of a real valued function. Also we can say f dash of x is given by limit h tending to 0 f of x plus h minus f of x upon h. This is the formula, procedure, method, approach to find the value, that is the derivative of any function, real valued function at some point if it exists in its domain. That is derivative of fx or f dash x is equals to limit h tending to 0 f of x plus h minus f of x upon h. Obtaining the value of derivative with this approach is also known as the first principle. Now I am taking a problem where we will calculate the differentiation, the derivative of a function, that is sin x, by using the first principle. Fx, we have fx as sin x. So we will have f of x plus h, which is required for applying in first principle. That is, if fx is given, we need to calculate f of x plus h also, because the derivative of any function by the first principle is given by f dash x is equals to limit x tending to 0 f of x plus h minus f of x upon h. Now, to tell you how we will proceed, I would like to remind you that here the function whose derivative was required was fx is equals to sin x. So the value of f of x plus h became sin of x plus h. So f dash of x, or you can say the derivative of sin x, comes out equal to sin of x plus h, that is f of x plus h, minus fx, that means sin x, divided by h under the condition limit h tending to 0. Here we need to remind the trigonometry sin c minus sin d. This become limit h tending to 0 to sin c minus d by 2, that is x plus h minus x by 2 into cos c plus d by 2 x plus h plus x by 2, entire divided by h. So this x and x get cancelled. We have obtained limit h tending to 0 to sin of h upon 2 into cos of x and x, 2x. 2x upon 2 is x plus remaining is h upon 2 divided by h. If we recall now, what about limit x tending to 0 sin x upon x? We know that if sin x upon x under the condition limit x tending to 0 is given, its answer is 1. So if I proceed this formula in this part, so before apply, as the angle is h upon 2, so denominator must be h upon 2. So we will write it as limit h tending to 0 to sin h upon 2 into cos of x plus h upon 2 upon h. Multiply this by half, that is denominator by half and numerator by half. So sin h upon 2 upon h upon 2 become 1. This 2 and this 2 get cancelled, become 1, and if I put h is 0, this become cos x. So net result of the derivative of sin x by the first principle is cos x. Now I want to tell you the results required for solving the problems related to derivatives. First question, first result, important formula, derivative of any constant number is always 0. Second, derivative of x to the power n, that is x is variable, n is constant. Result is n into n into x raised to the power n minus 1. Then third result, if I talk about derivative of e raised to the power x is same as it is e raised to the power x. Fourth, derivative of a raised to the power x, a is any constant number, x is variable. Answer comes a raised to the power x into log of a under base e. Then derivative of log x, if base is e, 1 upon x, and derivative of log x, if base is a, it is 1 upon x into log a under the base e. Derivative of sin x is cos x, and derivative of cos x is minus sin x. Derivative of tan x is sec square x, and derivative of cot x is minus cosec square x. Derivative of sec x is sec x into tan x, and derivative of cosec x is minus cosec x into cot x. Each of the result you can solve and you can find the proof by using first principle, as I have explained you how was the derivative of sin x is equals to cos x in my previous video. Now I am taking a problem. Find the derivative of 5 into x raised to the power 7 minus 7 into 2 raised to the power x plus cos of 3x minus log x under the base 3 plus 12. If this problem is required to solve, 5 is in multiplication, so will remain 5, and x to the power 7 answer will be obtained by using x to the power n is gives us nx n minus 1. So this will give us 7 x to the power 7 minus 1. Minus 7 is in product 2 raised to the power x. If I tell you what is the answer of a to the power x, it is a to the power x into log of a is that base 2 here, plus cos of 3x, derivative of cos x is what? Minus sin x. So derivative of cos x will be, cos 3x will be minus sin 3x. End of 3x is 3 by chain rule. Minus log of x base 3, it is 1 upon x log a. Log of x base a is given by 1 upon x log a plus 12. It's a constant number and separately individually, so its derivative will be 0. Whereas derivative of 5, 7 and other values is not 0 because they are multiplied with some specific result which is not a constant. Hence we can conclude it is 7 5 is 35 x raised to the power 6 minus 7 into 2 to the power x into log 2 minus 3 sin 3x minus 1 upon x log 3 under the base e. This is the value of the derivative of required problem. Now I would like to tell you few more important formulae. That is, if a problem is the derivative of two different functions fx plus minus gx. The answer is so simple, it is derivative of fx plus minus derivative of gx. And what is the formula in case if this is not plus minus, it is multiplication. So the formula of obtaining the derivative of the product of two functions fx into gx, the result is given by first, that is fx, into derivative of second, that is gx. First into derivative of second plus second as it is, that is gx, into derivative of first, that is what? fx. This is the formula for finding the derivative of two different, that is unlike functions, first into derivative of second plus second into derivative of first. If in the problem question is fx upon gx, in place of product it is in division, then the rule is denominator, that is gx, into derivative of numerator, that is fx, minus numerator fx into derivative of denominator gx divided by denominator's whole square. These two questions are very important, and along with these I want to tell you one of the problem related to chain rule. Suppose I want to ask you what is the derivative of log of sine of 3x square. So first we will go to take the problem of the log. Whatever log x, answer is 1 upon. So this become 1 upon sine 3x square. Because log x is 1 upon x, so log sine 3x square is 1 upon sine 3x square. Derivative of sine now is cos 3x square. And derivative of 3x square is what? 6x. So cos 3x square upon sine 3x square as per trigonometry comes cot of 3x square into 6x. So this become 6x into cot of 3x square as per the chain rule. I will explain you few problems related to product and the division rule. Now I am taking a problem where the division rule, the quotient rule is required to apply. Find the derivative of px square plus qx plus r upon ax plus b. To evaluate, we will apply the formula, that is d upon dx of fx upon gx. The rule is denominator into derivative of numerator minus numerator into derivative of denominator, that is of gx, upon denominator's whole square. So to apply it, denominator is here, denominator is ax plus b into derivative of numerator, derivative of px square, it is 2px, plus derivative of qx is q, and derivative of r, a constant number, is 0. Derivative of x is 1, that's why derivative of qx become q. Derivative of x square is 2x, so derivative of px square become this. Denominator into derivative of numerator minus numerator as it is, that is px square plus qx plus r, into derivative of denominator. Denominator is ax plus b. So derivative of ax is a because derivative of x is 1 plus derivative of b is 0 divided by denominator's whole square, that is ax plus b whole square. So this is the required answer. We can further simplify for bringing it in the simplest form. Now I am taking a problem where the product rule will be applied. There are two unlike functions, sin x and log x, and they are isolated with the sign of the multiplication. So what will be the answer? This will be first function, second function. We will apply the formula derivative of fx into gx is given by first into derivative of second plus second into derivative of first, like this. So here first is sin x into derivative of second log x, its derivative is 1 upon x, plus second is log x into derivative of first, sin x derivative is cos x. So the answer of the derivative of sin x into log x become sin x upon x plus cos x into log x under the base e. This is the answer. This is the answer of derivative of required problem by using the product formula.